Thank you for taking the time to view this COMET tool training video. The COMET tools were developed at the Natural Resource Ecology Laboratory located at Colorado State University. The COMET tools were developed in collaboration and funding support from the Natural Resources Conservation Service and the Climate Change Program Office at the United States Department of Agriculture. My name is Matthew Sturmer. I am an agronomist and the Outreach and Education Specialist for the COMET tools. I will be guiding you through this video. This video focuses on the COMET Farm Cropland module. I will walk you through using the demonstration project, which has been pre-populated with management scenarios. The demo project allows you to see what a completed project on COMET Farm looks like. To access the COMET Farm tool, you can go to www.comet-farm.com. So we'll go ahead and just walk through navigating through the COMET Farm tool. When you first enter COMET Farm, you'll be greeted by our Welcome to COMET Farm screen. At the top of this screen, we have a link to our training schedule. We also have a link to the USDA methods document found here in greenhouse gas emissions. Clicking on that will take you to the electronic copy of the methods document. I'd recommend those that are going to be using the COMET Farm tool to have access to this methods document. It does provide information on how the methods were developed for COMET Farm. Again, COMET Farm is the practical application of the USDA methods document. We'll go ahead and head back to the COMET Farm homepage. The other information that you'll find within the greetings page is just current updates and new features that have been added to COMET Farm. I encourage those that have just started using the COMET Farm tool to read through these to get an idea of what the COMET Farm tool can do for them and the new features. I'll go ahead and close that window. While using the COMET Farm tool, we encourage you to use the navigation buttons that are provided within COMET Farm. These navigation buttons can be found at the top right. They also will be found throughout the tool when entering in practice information. They will be these orange and white, they turn blue when you hover over them, buttons throughout the tool. When you use the navigation buttons provided by the web browser, it can lead to data loss, so refrain from using them. There really is not any reason that you would need to use them because the navigation buttons that are provided within the tool will take you where you need to go. So I'll go ahead and walk through the functions of the navigation buttons and what information you can find. Currently we're located on the home page. I'll click on the Tools tab and this will take us to the Sign In page. New users, I encourage you to register an account. You can do so by clicking on the Register tab just located at the top right of the Sign In box. Creating an account is very simple. There's 6 steps to do that. You'll receive an email from app@nrel.colostate.edu that'll guide you through the remainder of creating that account. The benefits of creating an account within COMET Farm is it allows you to save projects within the tool. Those can be accessed at any point from any computer that has an internet connection. There is the option to continue on without registration. Doing so allows you to complete projects, but they cannot be saved. Upon exiting the COMET Farm tool, that information will be purged and lost. So I encourage you to create an account. Click on the Information tab. This will take you back to that greetings page where again you can find the link to our training schedule and the link to the greenhouse gas methods document by the USDA. Information that's found on the Help tab can be found at the bottom of the tab. You'll find PDF tutorials. These tutorials are designed to help navigate through the tool at your own pace. So we will be covering the bulk of the tutorials today in this training. And I encourage those of you that may want to have other folks learn how to use the tool and they can't attend a training, they can download these tutorials and work step by step through each portion of the COMET Farm tool so that they can understand how to use it. For those of you that are using Internet Explorer, we encourage you to use the most updated version of Internet Explorer. Older versions of Internet Explorer do have known issues with COMET Farm, so to avoid having problems, just make sure that you're using the most updated version. Today's training will be done in Firefox. Comet Farm works great in Firefox. It works wonderful in Internet Explorer 11 and also works very well in Google Chrome. In the center of the help page, you'll find a link to our brochure. The brochure is a one-page explanation of the Comet Farm and the Comet Planner tool. These are great documents to provide to landowners or land managers. They give a brief overview of what the Comet Farm tool can do for them in relation to reducing greenhouse gas and increasing carbon sequestration. You'll also find a link to our training schedule just below the brochures tab. While using the Comet Farm tool, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feedback on the tool, maybe need help working through the tool, please send those to app.nrel@colostate.edu, and we can help you with the requests that you may have. Go ahead and return back to the home page. At the bottom of the Comet Farm homepage, you'll find frequently asked questions. Information safety is very important to us, so we do follow the NRCS's PII. For more information on that policy, click on the privacy policy link located in Is My Information Safe? We would like to thank the NRCS, the USDA for their financial support. Without them, Comet Farm would not be available to the public for free. We also want to thank Colorado State University for their support as well. And for those of you that have accounts on social media, we have a Facebook, Google+, and Twitter account. So follow us, tweet at us. We do like to announce upcoming training events, new features that have been added to the tool, along with finding out what's going on in your area as well. So these are a good way to keep up to date with improvements within Comet Farm. So now we'll go ahead and work through a demonstration project. You can access the Comet Farm tool by clicking on the Tools tab, clicking on Sign In located at the top right, or click on the Start Using Comet Farm tab in the center of the page. Go ahead and click Start Using Comet Farm. This will take us directly to the Sign In page. Here you'll enter in your username or your email that you registered your account with. Click Sign In. The first step in Comet Farm is the Activities page. On the left, we have a list of all of the existing projects associated with our account. As you build and begin projects, they'll be added to your projects list. In the center of the Activities page, we have the list of the categories that you can use to evaluate a site. You can select any combination of those categories or select all the categories for full accounting. While using Comet Farm, you'll find these blue question marks throughout the Comet Farm tool. When you click on those, they just provide further insight into information that may be necessary for that management practice. So while working through the tool, if there is a point where you need further clarification on what information is needed, look for the blue question mark and click on it. That should help you work through that option. We're going to walk through the Croplands demonstration project covering rice production. To access the demonstration project, click on Create Demo Project located to the right of Select a Project. The New Project demonstration box will open. Here you'll click on the Cropland Pasture Range Rice Demonstration Project and then click Create. At this point in time, the tool is preloading the demonstration project. You'll notice that the demonstration project was added to the projects list to the right. Here you'll see Rice Demo Project located at the bottom of your projects list. You'll also notice that the Cropland Pasture and Range category box has been selected. At this point, you can click on Define Activities to move into the demonstration project. The purposes of the demonstration project provide users with the ability to see what a completed project within Comet Farm looks like. This particular demonstration project focuses on rice production in eastern Arkansas. I will note that all of the information that you'll see here has been pre-populated so that you can see what a completed project looks like within Comet Farm. While working through the demonstration projects, you'll have these blue help boxes that will pop up that give insight and information into the particular managements that have been selected. This site is located near the Rice Research and Extension Center operated by the University of Arkansas. All of the management you'll see for this particular site is hypothetical for the purposes of the demonstration project. For more information on the Rice Research and Extension Center, you can click on the blue link. Clicking the OK will close the box. Here you will see a parcel already defined. The 78-acre field was defined by using the Add Parcel by Polygon option. You can also add polygons by using the Point feature, which allows you to select the center of a point, enter in the name and acreage of that particular site. For this demonstration project, we will only have the one field labeled F1. Some other information that you can find on the parcel locations page can be found by looking through the Tools tab on the far left. You can modify your parcels. You can also delete the parcels or delete all parcels by clicking the Delete All Parcels button. You also have the ability to upload multiple parcel locations using the Esri shapefile upload feature. For more information on how to use that feature, please take a look at our tutorials and then also our videos covering the shapefile upload feature. I'll draw your attention to the top right where you'll find the soils layer. Clicking on that soils layer button will overlay the web soil survey for that particular site. You then can move back to the left and click on View Soil by Click to get further information on a particular soil. As you can see here, by clicking on that soil, we get the soil attributes for that location. Go ahead and close the soil attributes window. Moving down to the bottom of the parcel locations toolbar, you'll also notice that you have the ability to export soil information in an Excel spreadsheet. So we're going to go ahead and move on since we've already defined our parcel. It's been preloaded. You can define as many parcels as you'd like, but for the demonstration, like I said, we only have the one parcel. To advance on, click on I'm done defining parcels, located at the top right of the page. Again, you'll see another help box that pops up describing the historic management for the demonstration project. I will draw your attention to the top left where we will have individual steps, starting with step 1, which was activities, step 2, field management, and step 3, the reports page. Just below those steps, you'll see a list of individual steps that we'll cover as you move through the management inputs within Comet Farm. The parcel location has already been defined. We're now working on the historic management. Upon completing that, we will complete walking through the current management and then finally finish up with the future management. Within the historic management, as I've stated, that the information that you see here has been pre-populated. Here you can see we've selected upland non-irrigated pre-1980s for our pre-1980 management. We have not selected this parcel to be in any type of conservation reserve program, but you do have the ability to select that by clicking the yes and then entering in information. Just below that, you'll see the 1980 to 2000 management. Here we've selected non-irrigated corn and cotton, and we've selected the 1980 to 2000 tillage as intents. I'm going to go ahead and click Next to advance into the current management. For the current management for this demonstration, we have selected a rice-soybean rotation. The rice is intensively tilled with the addition of 225 pounds of nitrogen added to the field prior to flooding, 100 pounds of nitrogen added mid-season, and then another 70 pounds that is added again throughout the season. The field is flooded the first part of June, and those levels are maintained throughout the growing season. The field is drained in early August, the crop residue is burned after harvest, and then the soybeans are planted using an intensively tilled system with no additions For both crops, there's not any manure, compost, or lime applied. So clicking that OK button will close that help window. So what I'd like to do is just kind of walk through the various management practices that have been selected for the demonstration project, and also help kind of guide through locations within the page and where you enter in certain management practices. As you notice at the top, we've advanced past the historic management, where we're currently working on current management. Just below that, you'll see various management inputs, starting with crop and planting date, concluding with the burning option of crop residue. On the far left of the page, you'll see the parcel map. Just below that, you'll see the years that you'll define information for the particular field, starting with the year 2000 and concluding in 2015. Since this is a demonstration project, the crop rotations have already been input. Moving back to the top of the page, we're going to go ahead and just walk through options that have been selected and move through each individual management practice. Our cash crop for the first year is flooded rice, so we've selected that from the drop-down crop menu. Here you can see the planting date has been entered. We've also have the harvest date. Grain option is checked. You will check the grain option whenever entering in a harvest event that you're removing a grain, seed, tuber, fruit, or nut. Enter in the yield, and then finally you'll select the percentage of straw, stover, or hay removal if that is occurring on that particular field with that crop. So we're going to go ahead and click Next to advance into the tillage table, where you can see that we've already pre-selected 2 tillage events, an intensive tillage event followed by a ridge till event. You can add as many tillage practices as you would like within any of the fields, but for the demonstration we have these 2 practices already defined. I'll go ahead and click on Next to move into the nitrogen application table. Here you can see the 3 nitrogen applications throughout the growing season with their total nitrogen applied in pounds per N per acre, the application method, and then also I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that there has been a nitrification inhibitor selected for the urea application. So here we have selected that nitrification inhibitor from the drop-down menu under our enhanced efficiency products. I'm going to click on Next to move into the manure application table. Here we have no manure applications occurring, so we'll go ahead and just click on Next to move into the irrigation table. You can see here that the irrigation table looks a little bit different than the irrigation table that you'll see with other crops. The irrigation table within the rice management will begin with the date that flooding started. So you'll select the first day that flooding began, the number of applications within that time frame. Here we've selected 1, and then the water depth maintained in inches throughout that flooding period. And finally you'll select the date that flooding actually ended. You'll notice that there's an option for aerated. Here we have not checked that box because we're not aerating or drying down the soil during this growing period. When clicking on the blue question mark to the right of the irrigation table, you'll see the help box opens how aeration is defined within the COMET-Farm tool. Here you can see that continuously flooded, intermittently flooded with a single aeration, and intermittently flooded with multiple aerations are defined. Please use these definitions in determining how your system is managed. Go ahead and click OK to close that help box. For this first portion of the management, the current management, there's only 1 flooding event that occurs throughout the season, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step by clicking Next, which will take us to the liming portion of the tool. Here you'll see that there's no liming occurring, so we'll go ahead and click Next to move into the final management practice, which is defining the burning of crop residues. For this demonstration project, we have selected Yes after harvesting. So we'll go ahead and click Next. After clicking Next, the Add Additional Crop box will open. This box allows you to add in additional crops for the same year. If you're able to multi-crop or growing a crop that spans a calendar year, you'll select Yes, Add Additional Crop for the same year. For this demonstration, we're going to select No Thanks and Continue since we're not multi-cropping. Now the Copy Crop box will open. As you can see, there are multiple red boxes indicating that those years already have crop data. That is due to the fact that this demonstration project is pre-populated. When first entering in a project into the COMET-Farm tool, these boxes will not be outlined with red. They'll be blank and they'll allow you to copy management across those years. The green check mark indicates the year that the crop information will be copied. Here we can select No Thanks and Continue since we already have crop information added. The Continue to Future Management box will open. We're going to click on Keep Editing so that we can take a look at the management for our soybeans. To look at the management for our soybeans, we simply can click on the year 2001 where we have soybeans in rotation. Here you'll see we have the crop selected, the planting date, and the harvest information, very similar to the rice that we just looked at. We'll go ahead and click Next to move into the tillage table. Here you'll notice that there are 3 tillage events occurring prior to planting this crop. Go ahead and click on Next to move into the nitrogen application table. Here you'll see that there isn't any nitrogen being added. Now we can click Next again to move into the manure application table. Again, there's not any manure added. Clicking Next will take us to the irrigation table, and again for this demonstration we are not going to be adding any irrigation to our soybeans. Clicking Next will move us into the liming option. Again, liming is not going to be applied in this demonstration. And finally, clicking Next will take us to the burning page where we have selected no burning of crop residues for the soybeans. Again, clicking on Next will generate the Add Additional Crop box. And again, we'll select No Thanks and Continue. You'll notice that the green arrow has then moved to the year 2001. And we still have crop information added. So we can go ahead and just click No Thanks since we're not copying any management changes over. This time, we can now click on Continue to Future Management. For this demonstration project, the hypothetical future scenario that was developed is going to be covering 2 alternating wetting and drying events, or an aeration, within the rice production time frame. We're going to go ahead and take a look at how that has an impact on methane emissions. So go ahead and click OK to close that box. A few things I'd like to point out within the future management module. You'll see that it looks very similar to the current management, but on the far left, at the top, just above the parcel map, you'll see a new option for selected scenario. Here we have entered in water management is our scenario, and just below that, you'll see that the years that we're going to be entering in information for start in the year 2016 and conclude in 2025. The management inputs are the same as they were from current management, beginning with crop and planting date and concluding with burning. So what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and walk through the management for the rice and the soybeans so that we can take a look at what's changed and what has stayed the same. Again, we're going to begin by growing flooded rice. We have the same planting date as we did in the current management. Same harvest information. Go ahead and click on Next to advance into the tillage table. Here you'll see that we're still practicing the same tillage practices as we had done in the current management. Clicking Next will take us to the nitrogen application table. Again, you'll see the same nitrogen application, same amounts and timing as we saw during the current management. Clicking Next will take us into the manure application table. Again, there's not any manure being applied to the system, So we'll go ahead and just click Next to move into the irrigation table. Here you'll see that there is a change in management from the current management. Here we're going to be taking a look at the impact of moving into a alternating wetting and drying system. You can see in the table that there are 2 additional entries from the current management. Here you'll see that the first flooding event will begin on June 1st. We're going to maintain 4 inches of water, and then that flooding event will end on the 20th of that month. We have selected and checked the aerated box. You'll then see that another flooding event occurs on the 30th. Same number of applications and same water depth is maintained. That flooding event will end on the 4th of July. And we've checked the aerated box. And then finally, the last flooding event will occur on the 17th of July and finally conclude in August. So here's the change in management from the current management, looking at an alternating wetting and drying. I'm going to click Next to move into the liming. Here you can see that there's not been any changes in our liming. And then click Next to move into the burning of crop residue. And again, we have selected Yes after harvesting. Click Next. You'll then get the Add Additional Crop option. We will go ahead and select No Thanks, Continue. Here you'll see you have the option again to copy crop information. So you can copy any changes that you may have made across the other future scenarios. Just like in current management, we already have information entered, so we'll just go ahead and click No Thanks so we can continue on and take a look at the soybean rotation. At this point, we'll go ahead and click on Keep Editing, and we'll click on the soybeans in 2017, just like we did within current management. Here you'll see that the same exact current management is occurring on the soybeans as it did during the current management. So there aren't any changes that are going to occur with the soybeans. So to save some time, we can go ahead and just click on Skip Ahead. That will advance us to the end of the management input, where we then can select No Thanks and Continue. Again, we'll select No Thanks because we're not going to copy any crop information. And now you'll have the option to either add future scenarios by clicking on Copy Management Information From, selecting the scenario from the drop-down menu. You can select either from the baseline or any completed future scenario. And then you can enter in a name for your new management practice. So if you'd like to add management practices to the demonstration project, you can do that. But what we're going to go ahead and do now is click on Continue to a Report so we can take a look at how the change in management may have had an impact on our greenhouse gas. At this point in time, if you would like to navigate away from the page, you could do so. The information has already been sent to the server and it's being processed. Depending on how complex your system is, you may have experience a very quick run, less than a minute. Or if it's very complex, you may see that process may take up to 30 minutes, depending on how big of a project you have. So for the demonstration project, the report that we'll look at here is comparing the current management, if you remember, was that rice grown on a continuous flood system, compared to that alternating wetting and drying. On the reports page, you'll see on the far left a source category. The source categories that are listed within COMET-Farm are carbon, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, and methane. Double-clicking on a source category will expand that, so then you'll be able to take a look at the subsource categories. You may notice that there are these little calculators located throughout the individual subsource categories that help provide information on how values were calculated. These equations are taken directly from the USDA methods document. As you recall, the Comet Farm tool is the practical application of the USDA methods document. So if you'd like to go into that document and look for equations that are listed here, you can do so to see what necessary inputs were needed to complete the calculation. As we move to the right, you'll then see the baseline emissions listed for our practice. Remember, values within Comet Farm are reported either as a positive value or a negative value. Positive values indicate that there is an increase in emissions. A negative value indicates that there is a sequestration or a reduction in emissions. If we compare the baseline emissions to our change in management, the water management, we can see that we have an increase in the amount of carbon sequestered. We're also going to see a reduction in methane emissions. Double-clicking on methane will then explain where those emissions are coming from. As you can see on the far right of the water management column, you'll see a change in emissions. That negative green value is indicating a decrease in emissions as a result of implementing this water management. At the bottom, you'll see a total for all emissions. Again, all emissions are reported in ton CO2 equivalents per year. And at the far bottom of the table, you'll see the total of all parcels. If we had multiple parcels, those would be totaled up and reported there. You can also look at this report graphically by clicking on the Cropland Graphical Report and selecting the field. These reports are interactive and allow you to select individual emissions. Clicking on the individual emissions will open up the subsource categories so you can get an idea of exactly where that emission is coming from. This information can be downloaded by clicking on the three bars located at the top right of the graph, and you can save those in any format that best suits your needs. Well, that concludes the training and walkthrough of the Comet Farm Cropland module focused on rice production. I want to thank you for taking your time to watch this video. Again, if there are any questions or comments that you may have on the Comet Farm tool, please send those to appnrel@colostate.edu. Thank you very much for your interest in Comet Farm.